Good morning, Andy Roberts here again from distributedresearch.net with another screencast video, the second one about Friendfeed. In the first video I showed how Friendfeed can be used for posting messages from within itself, posting messages and links, as well as a live stream aggregator, as well as just a destination where you send your Twitter feed and Flickr photos, blog RSS and various other social networking feeds. And in this video I'm going to show how the feeds coming into Friendfeed become social objects. Social objectivity being the theory that networks work best when they're not just connecting people to people. It's not just a load of nodes that are all people connecting to other people, to people, friends of friends, but that you need to have, for a network to work really successfully, you need to also have objects in the network, and the people connect to the objects and to other people around the objects. It's probably best to give an example, really, that the successful networks like online, successful big websites that use social networking, ones like Flickr and YouTube, that have been successful because it's not just people talking to people, it's people connecting to objects. In the case of Flickr, the object is a photograph, and the photograph is the main thing, and then the comments around the photograph. With YouTube, you've got the video, and then the comments, the discussion is always around one video or another. And that's how really all successful Web 2.0 websites work. Even like the blog, you've got the blog post is the social object with its own unique permalink, its own URL, and then people can talk about the subject of that blog post in the comments. It's not just an open free-for-all of people talking to people without any reason for being there, without a conversation starter. I mean, obviously conversations can go off and ignore the thing that originally triggered them, and the important thing is the people, the connections between the people, but it's the seeding of it starts with an object. So the network needs to have the object in it. And what happens in Friendfeed is that anything that comes into Friendfeed, in these cases, these services, a Flickr stream, that's photographs, a Last FM stream, that's songs, Twitter stream, so that's tweets, my YouTube favorites, so those are videos. Each song, tweet, each video, each set of pictures coming into Friendfeed. Here's a video that I favorited on YouTube. It's got John Lennon in it. It's great. It's a great performance. You should go and listen to that sometime. But because I favorited that video on YouTube and I've got my YouTube stream coming into Friendfeed, that then becomes a social object, because down here it says 10 minutes ago and it says comment. That's the essential thing. If I click on comment, that opens up a little box. So it's possible, doesn't have to happen, but it's possible that somebody can leave a message around the fact that I've favorited that video, and that's happening here inside Friendfeed, not back there on YouTube, but inside Friendfeed. Similarly, here's a tweet, a message I sent to a friend. Somebody else might come in and add a comment to that tweet. So that's something I put on Twitter originally. Now it's coming into Friendfeed, and you might spark a conversation or a comment. Or there's another thing as well, which is so there's a sort of rating system where you can say, yeah, I like that. Just no need to type anything, just like voting, rating, like a poll saying, yeah, I like that. But that occurs on the rooms, I think, which we'll come to a bit later on. So I hope I've managed to explain how each individual item coming in, there's one which is actually originated from Friendfeed itself, not from an external source. Each item coming in has the potential to become a social object, to spark a discussion around it, regardless of where it's come from. And that's more likely to happen in the more social areas, really, than just on the feed for a person, but it can do. So that's something really strong and powerful that Friendfeed's got going for it, the fact that it's got the social objectivity theory understood. I'll just check something actually. Is there a unique URL for each item? That's the point. So where I've got a YouTube there, no, those are clicking back through to YouTube, which is fair enough. And the comment, no, they don't really have unique URLs, so not 100%. It'd be difficult to post a link to that conversation within Friendfeed, I think. That's something to investigate later. But I'll move on now anyway to the second thing I wanted to show you today. I think that'll be enough, which is rooms. This is something that Friendfeed have added quite recently, as well as being able to I was going to say retweet, but that's a sort of Twitter terminology, but yes, to be able to repeat, resend, I think they call it. As well as that, they put in rooms, and slightly misnamed in my opinion, because to me a room suggests a chat room, which you would expect to be a synchronous, in a real-time thing, whereas what the rooms are, all they are topics. So the social object in this case is the topic. There's the 30-day challenge topic, for instance. So the topic is the 30-day challenge. Here's a list of people, that's me, who have joined that room, subscribed to that room. So what happens now, because these people are in that room, when they click on share something to post a message to Friendfeed, you get the option there to send it to that room. Whilst you're in that room, that's the default as well. So if you put a message, click on share this, it goes into that room and nowhere else. So it's not really appearing in the stream that other people might be subscribed to for the individual, I don't think. So within the 30-day challenge topic in that room, what you've got is a series of messages that have been posted, and as I was saying, the chances of a comment are more likely, because what's the room for? It's for having conversations. It's not just for sharing stuff from outside. So here are some messages. There's a message I posted, and these are replies. So this is it's a threaded discussion. It's, there's nothing new about this. This is very old stuff. We were doing this before the web was invented, even having threaded discussions. And there's comment for that's the one. Yes, like. Look at this. Look. Okay, so Alison posted a link to a YouTube, and I've got the option comment to annotate, to remark about that, and like. Look, if I click like, it says you like this. So it just adds a little note saying that was appreciated. Little tiny gesture of feedback that sometimes they're just enough to make a visit to one of these social networks rewarding enough to make you want to come back again. So that's the rooms, which are topic-based discussions inside Friendfeed, and the social objects, everything coming into Friendfeed has the opportunity to become a social object, to spawn a discussion. And the only other thing I wanted to say, if I've got time in this video, was in answer to the comment that I had on the last video Linda Hartley asked, she says, so people can add comments on your stuff there on Friendfeed's domain rather than on the various sites you use. And she's a little bit dubious about that. Really, the question is, why would you want people to go to Friendfeed and comment there on, say, your blog post that you've imported? You want them really to come to your blog and leave the comment there on your own space. Do you really want to have that discussion out on somebody else's website? You'd rather draw people in towards your own space where you're doing whatever you're doing. And my answer to that is, well, it's not an either or. It's both. The fact that there's a possibility of having a conversation out on a social networking site doesn't mean that conversation is happening there instead of where it would have been if you didn't participate at all. And people are different. Some people like to subscribe to everything in an RSS reader. They like blog lines or Google Reader or an installed client, and they do everything there. Some people arrange to have stuff sent to them by email because they like everything in their inbox. And some people will go to Twitter, Friendfeed, and places wherever their friends are, their contacts are, and that's enough. And they just click on they can see where somebody's updated, and that's where the latest news is. And they suddenly realise they haven't bothered to visit their RSS reader for quite a few days, and there's 762 unread messages in it. And I know this because I am one of those people sometimes. I just see what's the latest on Twitter or Friendfeed, and don't bother with the RSS quite so much as I used to. But that's just one type of person. And if you're not sending your stuff out, if you're not sending the links out, the fact that you've updated to Twitter and Friendfeed and these places, then you're missing out on that segment of the audience, which is a different segment to the ones who will come and comment on the blog and subscribe to your own RSS feed. In fact, it's quite an important segment, really, because the people who are what we call early adopters, are always interested in trying these new things. They're often the ones who will advocate for you. They'll go out and say, hey, there's an interesting video, you should go and see it, or they'll favourite or link back to you and send back more traffic of the type that you thought maybe you were missing out on by putting it there. So it all adds up. I think everything all adds into the mix, and the more the better, and the more different the better. And that's been Andy Roberts talking about Friendfeed. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.